I always record the virtual classroom. So for our kiddos who are at a different school for part of the day, or if you have a doctor's appointment or whatever the case is, you can go back and watch the recording. I've linked your virtual classroom schedule for the month of January and February on this agenda that you're looking at right here, so that you'll always know your dates and your times. Um, it's kind of like this. Monday is going to be a little bit more math based, and Thursday is going to be a little bit more reading based. So you might be in a different time slot on Mondays or Thursdays. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But you might not be. You might be the same time. Like I'm looking right here at Adam, and he's the same time. But you need to just find your name and make sure that you know your schedule. Um, Also, agendas like today's agenda that we're looking at, I've linked them here for you so that you can look at them ahead of time if you want to, I guess, so that you kind of know what we're doing. And then, if, like I said earlier, if you do miss a virtual classroom, here is the link for what you need to do. And then this right here will take you to where I post the recordings. So you can watch the recordings later. So, and this goes for everybody. Are there any questions on your virtual classroom schedule for the next couple months?
No.
No? Okay,
Um, I have a question.
sure.
Um, what does MOK stand for?
Oh, yes. So there are no virtual classrooms on Martin Luther King Day or President's Day because essentially school is closed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so that's why you don't see those dates listed anywhere up there. All right. I am so excited to get into our new unit. Last semester, and I know, Patrick doesn't know this, but last semester we did a huge project all around NASA. Um, and we learned a lot about space, and we learned a lot of different skills that helped us rescue astronauts from space. um, this week, or not week, I should say, this couple of months, we're going to be doing a whole like health and wellness type of unit. So, basically, we're going to be learning a lot about foods that we eat and percentages of fat and calories and all of those type of things, as well as a little bit about exercise and how to stay healthy. So, all right, I'm going really fast. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. And, as my old students know, we always start out with talking about our world class outcomes. Our world class outcomes are what we hope to achieve. So think of them as your goal. So this is what your goals are for this entire big project that we're starting. But a lot of times, these world class outcomes that I'm highlighting right now, they're written in adult language. Um, they're kind of hard for kids to understand sometimes. So I like to go through them and maybe rewrite them so that they're easier for you to understand. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this very first one. Okay, our very first outcome that we hope to achieve is that we can evaluate influences that contribute to healthy decision making. Let's break that down. What does it mean to evaluate?
Like.
And you could speak up and throw it out there. There's no really right or wrong answer. I'll help you.
I think I know what it means.
Okay.
So we're supposed to find, answers to becoming healthier and fitter.
Sure. Yeah, I think you took the entire thing and you kind of summarized it for us. But really, what evaluate means is to say, I'm going to change colors. Listen and read about And influences. We all know what it is like to be influenced, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so listen and read. How about different sources
Yeah.
that will help us make healthy decisions? Oh, somebody has a dog that's upset. Oh, okay. All right, so let's look at our next outcome. Our next outcome is evaluate how decisions impact community. Ooh, there's that word again, evaluate. Let's just, and sometimes when you need to figure out a different way to say a word, you just type it in Google, and good old Google will come up with lots of different hits for you. So to evaluate means to form an idea. So let's go back.
I think I might know, Miss Bruns.
Okay.
When it says evaluate how decisions impact community, I think what it says is that the ideas you make might impact a new law.
That's right. The community laws, okay, about the decisions you make and how they affect your. Can we change the word community to like maybe your neighbors and your friends and your family?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, I think, a little bit easier for you guys to understand that your community is made up of your friends, family. I could even say your classmates and your neighbors. Good. All right. And our last world class outcome is to construct viable arguments. Woo! Construct viable arguments. This word
I think
viable.
I might know.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, like we did not too long ago with the space program.
hmm
That's a good example.
Absolutely. Let's look up this word viable for anybody who might be, kind of sitting there wondering, what does viable mean? So let's look. Viable. Capable of working successfully or feasible. Feasible is a good word. Feasible or believable. So construct, so make is another word for construct. Make feasible, good arguments. Oops, there we go. And critique the reasoning of others. If you are critiquing the reasoning of others, you're basically just breaking down what other people think. So, okay, so I've muted everybody for a second just to eliminate some background noise. So make good arguments and break down others' ideas and reasons to make good decisions. Okay. And good is another word for informed. Informed just means that you are informed and you know what's going on. All right. So if you didn't understand this this time, don't worry. We'll be revisiting our goals and our world class outcomes at every virtual classroom. Okay. Okay. So your
That's
microphones
good.
are back on.
Awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully there's no background noise anymore. And now we're going to go ahead and get into our fun activities. What's really cool about this program that we're going to be completing over the next couple months is we're going to be hitting a lot of our school-wide goals. So K through 12th graders are all working on the same goals. Um, so you guys are a really big part of that. So you should be proud. All right. In the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing some research about nutrition. mostly using popular kid snacks. So things that you guys see quite a bit. All right, so let's go and learn a little bit about analyzing labels. And so let me just, and I know all my old students know this, but anytime you see something blue like this, Patrick, it means I've linked it for you. So you can always go back to it later. It's there for you. Okay. All right. Before I go ahead and get started with this, are we ready to learn a little bit about food labels?
Mhm.
Okay.
Nutrition facts labels are key to helping us know which foods to choose and how much of them to eat or drink. Now, they can be a little confusing, so we're going to look at one and discuss what all the words mean and the numbers mean and how you can use them to make healthier selections. And the very, very first thing you should always look at is the serving size. This is really important. If you change the serving of the amount of food or drink, then you have to change all the other numbers on the label. This label has 1 cup or 228 grams as the serving size. You would need to measure out 1 cup using a measuring cup or weigh out 228 grams using a food scale. That means if you ate the entire container, you would be eating 2 times the amount listed below. That's why you always need to check the label and use measuring cups, like these. Measuring cups are wonderful and can really help with portion control. So let's head home and talk about calories. Calories are the energy in our food, and we have to have a balance of the calories that we eat and the calories that we burn, like through exercise. So, if we eat more calories than we burn, we gain weight. But if we burn more calories than we eat, then we lose weight. Calories come from fats, carbohydrates, and protein. The next item on the label is total fat. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the different types of fat. Saturated fat and trans fats are the bad fats. They can raise LDL or bad cholesterol in the body, which increases the risk for heart disease. Sometimes you see polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat listed on the label. These are the good fats. They help maintain your HDL or your good cholesterol in your body. Even though these fats are heart healthy, you still want to limit the portion because they're high calorie. Total carbohydrates. Underneath the total carbs on the label, it gives you a breakdown of different types of carbs. Dietary fiber is healthy and something we should get plenty of. Sugar is another type of carb and it should be eaten in moderation. Protein is a nutrient that helps build our muscles, our skin, and our hair. Below the black line, you will find some of, but not always all of, the vitamins and minerals in that product. Along the right side of the nutrition facts label, you will see a list of percentages for each nutrient, which shows the percent daily value. The percent daily value is for someone following a 2,000 calorie diet. What it's saying is if you were to eat 1 cup of this product, you would be getting 18% of your total fat needs for the day. But what if you're not on a 2,000 calorie diet? Here's a quick guide for you. If the percentage is 5% or less, it means it's low. But if it's 20% or more, it means it's high. And if it's between 5% and 20%, then it means it's in the middle. The nutrients that are good to be low are in this section here. Total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium. The nutrients you want to be high are fiber and vitamins and minerals. Now that we've learned to read a nutrition facts label, let's use our knowledge to compare products. Here we have 2% milk, which is reduced fat milk, and fat-free milk, which is skim milk. If we look at the labels, both serving sizes are the same, 1 cup. However, the 2% milk is 130 calories per serving, and the fat-free milk is 90 calories per serving. So by choosing the fat-free milk, we'll be saving 40 calories per serving. Let's compare the fat and cholesterol. The 2% milk's daily value is 8% for the total fat, 15% for the saturated fat, and 7% for the cholesterol. Check out the fat-free milk. The percent daily value is 0% for the total fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol. Now this is interesting. All the other nutrients are very similar in each of the milks. You get all the good nutrients in the fat-free milk without the calories, bad fat, and cholesterol. So now that you know how to read a nutrition facts label, you have all the tools you need for picking out healthy foods and healthy portions.
All right. Okay, let's get this to not be full screen anymore. All right. So that was pretty enlightening. I think one of the biggest things that we do, especially here in America, is we don't pay attention to the serving size. You might, glance at calories and be like, "Oh, I'm only eating 60 calories," but and I'm looking at this example right here. That's if you only eat two crackers. And I know that when I'm, getting into a box of crackers, sometimes I don't stop at just two. So, therefore, let's say I ate four crackers. I would have to go and double all of these numbers that you see below. And if I went and I grabbed six crackers, well, then I'd have to triple all of these numbers. And so that's where things can get kind of, unhealthy. Especially think about ice cream, for instance. How many people just scoop themselves a nice half a cup of ice cream? I usually don't. I usually go for probably three times the amount that they list in the nutrition facts label. So that's something that we have to be really aware of. Also, in that video, she talked about a 2,000 calorie diet. Okay, so that's 2,000 calories per day. That's for an adult. Okay, so you guys are definitely not or shouldn't be hitting 2,000 calories a day just being children. So these percentages that you see over here should be even lower for you guys. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my agenda for a second. And we're going to do a little pantry search here in a minute. But let's scroll down here. So, what do you know so far about nutrition or nutritional labels? And you can go ahead and just shout it out.
Well, that when you're at the store and you're buying things,
Mm-hmm.
like for instance a soda, you don't just toss it in the bag. You look at the label and see what's in it, and if it's not too much healthy things in it, then put it back.
Okay, look at the labels first to analyze if it's healthy. Okay, what else?
And we should always look at the serving size
There you
to
go.
see how much we should eat so we don't get too much of the unhealthy stuff.
Exactly. So, like and Patrick, he said, yeah, he goes for about bowlfuls of ice cream. Exactly. That's definitely not a serving size. Okay, what else do we know about nutrition or even the nutrition labels that we just looked at?
That, you know, too much of a good thing can be bad.
Yeah, that's right. Thing can be bad. So practice moderation. And then, did you guys learn something about the percentages of total value is listed on labels? So what that means is for a 2,000 calorie diet, like I said, though, you guys should not be probably hitting 2,000 calories unless you're like really big, which none of you are. Um, it gives you the percentage of your total value for the day. Okay, so like 2% of the fat that you need for the entire day. Okay. Anything else that we know already about nutrition or nutritional labels?
Um, if um um
It's
uh,
okay.
I'm trying to think.
What were some of the
um,
things that you saw? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
if you find some meat, look to look at the meat and see how much fat is on it.
Okay. Okay, so that's just talking about one type of food in the food group, and that's fine. Determine fat content.
Another
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think I got one.
Okay.
Well, sugar has, grains in it, right? But I mean,
It's considered a carbohydrate, but it, it,
right,
it doesn't really have grains in it, no, and definitely not healthy grains.
right.
What were some of the things that you saw listed on the label? I heard somebody say fat content is listed. What else?
How many
Protein is also listed.
Oh, sorry. How about, yeah, Adam, say it first, and then whoever that was, say it second.
how many pounds it has on it?
Oh, okay. So are you thinking serving size again? Like,
Yeah.
okay. Fat content, serving size. What else is on that label?
How much protein it has.
Yeah. Protein, calories, right?
Nutrition.
That's right. Could we call those vitamins, maybe?
Yeah.
If there are any, they do list that. They also list the ingredients. That's always important. Um, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll teach you a little bit
Also-
more about analyzing ingredients soon. And maybe there's more.
also
Okay, let's.
another thing is
Oh, go ahead. Speak up.
you need to check the expiration date,
Oh, yeah,
because if the expiration date was a while ago, then it's probably not very healthy.
that's right.
Yeah.
Expir. Okay, there we go. Expiration date. Perfect. So, what things do you want to know about nutrition or reading nutritional labels? What are some questions?
Um, my question is, um, I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's okay. Let me get you started. Are any of you wondering how many calories a day you should take in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I know one.
Okay. Go
How
ahead.
many carbohydrates are in a meal?
Oh. Or how about should be in a meal?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to learn all about that. Carbohydrates should be in a meal.
Um.
Any other questions?
How often should you eat canned foods?
Should you eat what?
Canned foods?
Oh, canned foods. Good. Okay, because yes, we all know that canned foods has a lot of sodium in it, which could definitely not be good for you. Let me add that. Sodium is also listed on food labels. Okay, so we're going to keep these questions in mind, and we'll see this. This is called a KWL chart. You'll see this again in future virtual classrooms, and then we can go and answer our questions along the way.
Are we going to start doing that today?
You might actually have some answers by the end of today. Sorry, I'm choking. Okay. So what we are going to do now is a pantry search. I'm going to show you a couple examples that I've found of goldfish, pretzels, and apples. Pretty popular kids snacks. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the chart. We're going to at least fill in the chart for maybe one snack. And then we have some questions to answer and a game to play. Before I let you go, though, you guys are going to be doing your own pantry search that you're going to come back next Monday with some information on snacks that you have at your house. Okay, let's look at goldfish. All right. Okay, I'm trying to kind of resize my screen so that we can see both. Alrighty. So here we have goldfish. Let's see, 55 pieces. So that is our serving size. 55 pieces is actually kind of a lot. That's a pretty darn big handful. So that's not too bad. So for 55 pieces, you would ingest 140 calories. 45 of those calories would be from fat. Do you remember what she said about the total fat percentages and if this would be high or low?
No.
The lady in the video said that if it was 5% or lower, it would be.
It's like in the middle.
Yeah, so this is a middle. So basically, you would look at it and say it's not too bad as far as fat is concerned. Saturated fat. Unfortunately, out of that entire 8%, a whole 5% of it is saturated. And that's bad. That means most of the fat is saturated fat.
And what's wrong with saturated fat? I mean, I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, saturated fat and trans fat are considered bad fats. Those are the ones that will raise your cholesterol and lead to heart disease. They also, it clogs your arteries and, you'll have a greater chance of having a heart attack and that kind of thing when you get in a lot of saturated and trans fat. These two types of fats are considered healthy fats. They're called polyunsaturated and monounsaturated. A good example of a healthy fat, or a food, I should say, that has a lot of healthy fat is an avocado. And avocado has a ton of these healthy fats, which is pretty good for you. You just have to be careful because they're high in calories. Okay. Okay, give me a thumbs up or a happy face in the chat if that made sense. You're going to be learning a lot more about labels, don't worry, but so far, is it making sense? Okay, good. Yay, I'm getting happy faces. All right, so that's kind of what you're looking at as far as the different types of fat. And then we have cholesterol. 3%, that's pretty low. So that's not too bad. Sodium. Ooh. If you were eating a 2,000 calorie diet, you would be getting 10% of all of the sodium that you need just by this handful of goldfish crackers.
Wow,
So,
that's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah, it's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Hi, and I have a couple kiddos who are showing up just a little early or maybe a little late. And that's totally fine. Just, hang out and maybe you can stay for the next virtual classroom so you can get the beginning of our lesson. Here's something cool. There's no sugar, so that's good, right? It does have
Yes.
a pretty good amount of carbohydrates, which isn't great. And I don't see a whole lot of nutritional or vitamin content. So maybe not a terrible snack, but maybe not the best either. So here's what I would do. I'd come over here and I would just fill in my chart. You guys are going to be doing this on your own with some of your own snacks. Saturated, we have 1 gram. Carbs, let's see, total carbohydrate, we had 20. Protein, 3 grams, so it had a little bit of protein. Vitamins.
Because of the cheese, right?
Exactly, probably. I'm
0%.
not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna take the time to type in all of these different vitamin percentages. Just the ones that have any value. So there is a little bit of calcium. Oh, okay, there we go. 4%, and so forth. Okay, let's spell that right. There we go. What in the world? Why is that being so weird? Okay, well, either way. So I would go on down the list. We have niacin. Niacin is 6%, and so forth. Okay. It's not letting me type into this last box very easily. Ah, whatever. You get the point. They're listed right here. Oh, see, look, it went. Yeah, I know. It went and it jumped down into my pretzel box. Oh, well. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now let's just take a look at pretzels. I'm not going to take the time to type it in. We're just going to take a look. And these are the rolled gold tiny twists. So you guys are all familiar with these. Nutritional labels. Let's look. All right, so about 17 pieces. Oops. There we go. 17 pieces is what we're looking at this time. So maybe not quite as many as you would get from goldfish. One thing I noticed right away is I jumped. Dang it, if I click on it, it goes away. All right. Right down here, I jumped to sodium. It has a lot more sodium, and that's really not a good thing. Um, it doesn't have much sugar, so that's pretty good. It doesn't have any fat, or any bad fat, at least. Saturated and trans fat are your bad fats, and there's none, so that's a good thing. A little bit better than the goldfish. A little bit less calories per serving. But overall, kind of the same. Kind of, not real heavy on vitamins, not much going on there, not much good dietary fiber. Remember, dietary fiber is good for you, not much of that. Just kind of a blah type of snack. Let's go back and look at some apples. And I bet you guys can guess already what the apples are going to be like.
The apples, I bet, will be full of vitamins and will have barely any fat.
Exactly. All right, so let's take a look at apples. You can have about 125 grams, and that's basically a cup of apples. So it's showing you the serving size right here, a cup of apples. So that's quite a bit actually. You would only get 65 calories. You would get no bad fat, no fat at all. Very low in sodium. Good carbohydrates. You would get 3 grams of good carbohydrates. Surprisingly enough, fruit has a lot of sugar. In a lot of countries, like Japan is one that I'm thinking of, they eat fruit as a dessert. They don't order chocolate cake or ice cream sundaes for desserts at restaurants. They order fruit. Kind of crazy, huh?
But it is
Yeah.
natural sugar.
Yeah, it is a
That's
natural.
not crazy.
No, it's
That's
not.
what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. So 10:15 for you, Tyler Berger. I just sent you a message. Okay, so basically it's showing you that it is, it has some vitamin C, quite a bit, little bit of vitamin E, and so forth. So, I mean, obviously, no food is ever going to be 100% great for you, but apple out of these three choices is definitely your best choice. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you a couple questions. Did you discover anything about these favorite foods, kids' foods, that you didn't know before?
Well,
Yes.
the part that apples have surprisingly sugar.
Yeah, they do. It's natural sugar, so it's actually not as bad for you as like that processed type of sugar. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but it is sugar. Sugar acts the same way in the body, definitely. Um, and I'm going kind of fast because we're getting really close to 10:15 with the next group coming in. But what did you notice about, like, let's look at this label, for instance. What do you notice about this goldfish label? The picture and the colors.
It's really bright and colorful.
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a lot of advertisements.
Yep, it's bright, it's colorful, it's kid friendly, it has a cute little fish on it. It definitely a cartoon type of fish, I should say. Cartoonish fish. It definitely attracts kids. Okay. Um, you're going to have to notice that a lot of your favorite snacks do this on purpose. A lot of your favorite snacks that are geared towards children will have these cartoony figures and bright colors, whether they're
So they
healthy
can
or
Why?
attract children to their death traps
not.
with sugar.
Pretty much.
Sugar and cartoon characters.
Oh, I know. Exactly.
Come to our heart attack.
Pretty much. Oh my goodness. And so we're going to end with playing just a really quick little game, and we'll play it again. Don't worry. I have tons of these fun games, and you're welcome to play it on your own at home as well. And then there's another really good little video that I would like you to watch at home. But let's go to our game. That's right, Patrick. Which food has the most sugar? All right, so we're going to be placing 3 foods in the cart to compare. All right, let's. Uh-oh. Is it going to make me log in? Darn it. Whoa. Okay.
Let's play.
Okay. Okay, that's really loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is asking me to find the amount of protein. So here is where I would find my protein. Okay, so super fun game that I just really wanted to introduce you to. Yes, and that you can play on your own.
Oh wow,
At your own time. It's really fun. But here's what you're going to need to have done before January 13th, which is the week from today. I will email this out, but it's also linked right here. You're going to do your own scavenger hunt. Okay? So you're going to go and you're going to look in your pantry. Or if you do go to the grocery store in the next week, then you can do it at the grocery store. Either way, you're going to list at least 2. If you want to do all 4, do all 4 of your favorite foods and 2 foods
Hello.
that you believe are healthy. Actually, okay, so you do have to do all 4. 2 of your favorite foods, healthy or not, and then 2 foods that you believe are healthy. And then you're going to do what we were just doing. We're going to fill in the serving size, the calories, and so forth. And then, all right, a little bit of a scavenger hunt. You might have these in your pantry at home. And like I said, you might have to find them maybe at a store. Then you're going to look up some fried potato chips, some soda, some cookies, and some candy, which we all just probably gorged ourselves on over the holidays.
Yep.
And then you have a couple more questions that you don't necessarily have to write them down, but just be prepared to answer them for next time. So, are there any questions on what you need to complete by next Monday?
No. No.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. And remember, for my 9:30 group, go back and play this game and watch the video. They're really fun. You'll enjoy it. So, all right, 9:30 group, you are free to go. And Tristan, I'm so sorry we kind of went over. I didn't have time to answer your question. If you can you email it to me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, 9:30 group, you're free to go.
Bye.
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 Yay!
Bye-bye.
Bye. Welcome, 10-15ers.
This is Bruns. Can you hear me?
Okay. So I'm just gonna. Okay, let's spell this correctly. My goodness. So let's wait just a second, make sure everybody's here. It's not letting me type very easily into this last box for whatever reason. It's just giving me problems. Ah, oh well. You'll figure it out when we get to it. All right, 10-15ers, how was your winter break?
Good. Good.
Good. Yeah, well, it's kind of a dumb question because they're always good, right? I mean, it's a break. How could it be bad? All right, so Tyler B, say something and I'll tell you if I can hear you.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm using my new iPad I got for Christmas, so I'm not sure if it's working or not with the voice.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep. So you'll just have to kind of speak up because sometimes the iPad speakers aren't as sensitive. So.
Well, yeah. Well, this isn't a real iPad. It's the Nexus 7.
Oh, okay, cool. Very good. All right, let's take a look at our schedule. I think most of us are here, but I just want to go over your virtual classroom schedule again for at least the months of January and February. Most of you know that March has a lot of TCAP testing, so our virtual classroom schedule is way different in the month of March. So we're not going to even go there yet. um, so let's just take a look. Here's what you need to understand is that you might have a different time on Monday and Thursday. And the reason is Monday is a little bit more math based and Thursday is a little bit more language arts based. So some kids are just naturally in different groups. Okay. All right. So today we should have Tyler V, Sienna, Corbin, Jaden, Lucas, AJ, Clara, and Tim. And I think we have most of us here. I think we're waiting on maybe Tim.
Oh, it's AJ.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys for just a second, and then I'll unmute you when we get started. On this schedule, I linked all of our agendas. I really should have done this last time, but I didn't. But this time, you can kind of look ahead to what we'll be doing um, on any given day. And then, of course, if you have to miss a virtual classroom, here are the expectations and then the site where I post all of the recordings. Okay, they're all linked for you on this one handy dandy sheet. Okay, all right. So, just a quick little review about our rules to be respectful and responsible and ready. The biggest things, in the virtual classroom are to make sure that you're in a quiet room and that you mute yourself if you have some background noise going on. Like in the last virtual classroom, we had a dog barking, and you can't really help it because it's a dog. You can't really make a dog stop, but you can mute yourself. Keeping your chat and your webcam on topic. So if you do have your webcam on, make sure it's for the purpose of raising your hand. Okay. And yeah, no loud distractions, and of course, listening and respecting others. Okay, webcams are on. Any questions about our virtual classroom schedule or our expectations? Nope. Okay. Well, all of you were here last semester, which is awesome. So you know that we did a big project around NASA and scientists and, um, saving them from this disaster that they experienced in space. Well, this semester, we're going to take kind of a different turn and we're going to be doing a whole unit on health and wellness. So we're going to learn a lot about food and a lot about exercise. Um, and of course, within all of these projects that we do, you learn a lot of math skills and a lot of reading skills. Okay. Today's kind of like a overall introduction, but it'll grow each week. It'll grow a little bit more. All right. As we know, we always start out with our world class outcomes. The last group helped me put them into kid language, which you can see in red. but I'm just going to read them, and we can add to or change anything if we can make it better. So our first world-class outcome is to evaluate influences that contribute to healthy decision making. Well, the last group didn't quite know what the word evaluate meant. So what I did is I just typed it into Google, and what do you know? I'm showing you my Google search. To evaluate means to form an idea. So that's a little bit easier language. So that's why I changed it. So form an idea by listening and reading different sources that will help us make healthy decisions. Give me a thumbs up or a happy face in the chat if that's pretty clear. Okay, lots of happy faces. Is there anything or any wording that you would like me to change in this world-class outcome? Okay, all right. I'm getting it. Most people think it's pretty well written and pretty understandable. My next world-class outcome, here's that word evaluate again. Evaluate how decisions impact community. Okay, so we changed it to form an idea about the decisions you make and how they will affect your friends, family, classmates, and neighbors. So really what we did is we defined the word community. We were much more specific. Um, all of the decisions that you make, believe it or not, affect your friends, your family, your classmates, and your neighbors. So you need to be able to evaluate them clearly. Thumbs up or a happy face if that goal is pretty clear. Pretty easy to understand. Okay, good. This last one was the hardest one to, understand and break down. Construct viable arguments. Okay, well, they're right here in the middle. The word viable is kind of weird. So I did the same thing and I Googled it.
Viable.
And if you hit this little thing, it'll say it for you. Viable means feasible or believable. So make feasible, good arguments and break down others' ideas and reasons to make good decisions. I'm going to take that out because that's kind of awkward. Ideas. Let me reread it. Make feasible, good arguments. I'm going to change the word good because that's kind of lame. Let's change it to strong. Make feasible, strong arguments and break down others' ideas to make good decisions. What do you guys think? Is that pretty easy to understand? Okay. Happy face. Thumbs up. All right. We're going to, each time, we'll at least look at these again so that we can always keep in mind what we're supposed to be shooting for. Okay? All right. So now this is the fun stuff. We are going to start by analyzing labels, food labels. And I bet you're going to learn a lot more than you ever thought possible when looking at food labels. Let me start off a little bit differently than I did for my younger kiddos. Watch me delete it all. I'm going to start with what do you already know about nutrition or nutrition labels? What do you already know? Okay, microphones are on, or you can type into the chat. Go ahead, Lucas.
I know that red and blue, red number one, and blue and all those numbers and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know exactly the numbers or whatever, but I know that they're bad for you.
Okay, I'm going to call them additives. They are additives in foods that are bad for you.
Yeah,
yes, they
like
are.
Soy sauce and stuff like that is
Mm-hmm.
bad for you.
These are food dyes that give food a color. So sometimes if you're eating, goldfish, and it wouldn't be as interesting if it wasn't an orange little cracker, they have to add a food dye. Okay, and then Corbin typed into the chat is the food labels. Oops, spell it right. Labels tell you facts about the food. Yeah. What else do we know about nutrition or nutritional labels? Carbs are sugars. Okay, carbs. I'm going to change that just a little bit, Clara. Turn to sugar in your body. They do, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Don't think that all carbs are bad, but okay. Let's come back to this after we watch a little video and learn a little bit more. Okay. We're going to learn about analyzing labels. It's taking a while, but it'll load, I promise. I don't know. It's running slow, but it'll be here. I don't have a lot of patience. That's one of my New Year's resolutions. Be more patient. Okay, here we go.
Nutrition facts labels are key to helping know which foods to choose and how much of them to eat or drink. They can be confusing, so we're going to look at one and discuss what all the words mean and the numbers mean and how you can use them to make healthier selections. And the very, very first thing you should always look at is the serving size. This is really important. If you change the serving of the amounts of food or drink, then you have to change all the other numbers on the label. The label has 1 cup or 228 grams as the serving size. You would need to measure out 1 cup using a measuring cup or weigh out 228 grams using a food scale. That means if you ate the entire container, you would be eating 2 times the amount listed below. That's why you always need to check the label and use measuring cups. Like these. Measuring cups are wonderful and can really help with portion control. So let's head home and talk about calories. Calories are the energy in our food, and we have to have a balance of the calories that we eat and the calories that we burn, like through exercise. So if we eat more calories than we burn, we gain weight. But if we burn more calories than we eat, then we lose weight. Calories come from fats, carbohydrates, and protein. The next item on the label is total fat. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the different types of fat. Saturated fat and trans fats are the bad fats. They can raise LDL or bad cholesterol in the body, which increases the risk for heart disease. Sometimes you see polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat listed on the label. These are the good fats. They help maintain your HDL or your good cholesterol in your body. Even though these fats are heart healthy, you still want to limit the portion because they're high calorie. Total carbohydrates. Underneath the total carbs on the label, it gives you a breakdown of different types of carbs. Dietary fiber is healthy and something we should get plenty of. Sugar is another type of carb and it should be eaten in moderation. Protein is a nutrient that helps build our muscles, our skin, and our hair. Below the black line, you will find some of, but not always all of, the vitamins and minerals in that product. Along the right side of the nutrition facts label, you will see a list of percentages for each nutrient, which shows the percent daily value. The percent daily value is for someone following a 2,000 calorie diet. What it's saying is, if you were to eat 1 cup of this product, you would be getting 18% of your total fat needs for the day. But what if you're not on a 2,000 calorie diet? Here's a quick guide for you. If the percentage is 5% or less, it means it's low. But if it's 20% or more, it means It's high. And if it's between 5% and 20%, then it means it's in the middle. The nutrients that are good to be low are in this section here: total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium. The nutrients you want to be high are fiber and vitamins and minerals. Now that we've learned to read a nutrition facts label, let's use our knowledge to compare products.
Okay, I'm going to pause it because we are going to do that on our own, actually. And yes, I know it was a little glitchy and a little slow, but basically, I think you probably got a pretty good gist about it. And I'm going to kind of review it right now. All right, so here's, if you can see this label, hopefully, here's an example of crackers. Doesn't tell us what kind or anything, but that's fine. One of the most important things that you need to do is make sure that you're looking at your serving size. Here in America, it's really easy to double and sometimes triple the serving size. I know that when I'm, busting into a box of crackers, sometimes I don't stop at two. Okay? So that means, what if I grabbed 4 crackers? I would have to go and double all of these numbers. If I grabbed 6 crackers, I'd have to go and triple all of these numbers. That's probably the most important thing that you guys need to be aware of when you're looking at how much cereal you pour into your bowl or how much ice cream you scoop into your bowl. Your ice cream label is probably like half a cup, which is definitely not a full bowl of ice cream. Let's just see by a show of hands or a happy face how many people are guilty of eating an entire full bowl of ice cream. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you're looking at all these calories and the fat listed. Well, you'd probably have to actually triple all of the numbers because you probably put like a cup and a half of ice cream in there. Another thing that she talked about in the video was the percentages of a 2,000 calorie a day diet. I'll just give you a hint. None of you guys should be eating 2,000 calories a day. 2,000 calories a day is based on an adult diet. Okay. So when you look at these percentages, this is 2% of what an adult on a 2,000 calorie diet should eat in one day. Looking at like sodium, this is 3% of what an adult on a 2,000 calorie diet should eat in one day. So you guys need to figure that you're going to have to eat less and that your numbers should be lower, okay? Because you're not going to be doing a 2,000 calorie a day diet. All right. Questions so far? I'm going to turn your microphones back on. No questions so far? Okay, microphones back off again while I just talk a little bit more about some other things that she mentioned. Total fat. Not all fat is bad. And you might have, been under that impression. Saturated and trans fat are the bad fats. Okay, those are the ones that are genetically engineered that are bad for you. Trans fat will lead to clogged arteries, to higher cholesterol, and eventually could lead to more heart disease. So if you eat a lot of foods that are high in saturated and trans fat, maybe try to cut back. And this doesn't even list it, but there's 2 other kinds of fat that are good for you, and I'll show you some more examples. I'm going to go back to my agenda here, and what we're going to do is we're going to analyze 3 kids snacks that you guys are probably pretty familiar with: goldfish, pretzels, and some apples. Okay. All right. Let's start with goldfish. I'm going to pull it up and then I'm going to turn your microphones on. All right, it's taking a minute. Goldfish, come on, goldfish. There we go. All right, so we are looking at the nutritional label of a goldfish. And the first thing, remember the very first thing that you need to look at is the serving size. So this is for 55 pieces. That's actually pretty good. Um, I don't think anybody would, feel deprived after eating 55 goldfish. I think 55 is a pretty good amount. Calories. If you ate 55 goldfish, you'd have 140 calories. Total fat, 5 grams. Did anybody catch in the movie what she said about the percentages of fat and how to tell if it's high or low? Nope. Okay, let me just review it for you. If you have below five total, good, Corbin did catch it. If it's below 5%, you can consider it low in fat. And good, Sienna caught it too. It's actually 6 to 19% is medium, so kind of a medium fat level. And if it's 20% or higher, it's high in fat. Okay, so that's just a really quick way to be able to tell. So, what is this? Low, medium, or high? This one is medium, right? Okay, let me see if I can make it a little bigger. It's a little bigger. Let me zoom in again. Okay, that's getting a little bigger. Hopefully that helps. So this is a medium fat level, but here's the bad part, guys. Look at how much saturated fat it has. It has 5% of that 8 is saturated. So most of the fat is bad fat. These are the two types of fat that are considered healthy fat, okay? These are food or fats that are found naturally in foods. I'm thinking of an example of a food that has a ton of healthy fat. It is green. Sometimes you put it on your salad. Anybody want to
Lettuce.
guess?
Lettuce.
No, actually, lettuce is kind of low in everything. An avocado. An avocado has a ton of healthy fat, um, which is good for you. You just have to be careful because it's high in calories. Okay. All right. Here's another thing that's jumping out to me right away. It has a lot of sodium, this particular snack. That's 10% of what you need in an entire day. So just by this handful of goldfish, you're getting like a ton of the sodium that you need. Dietary fiber is the good fiber, 4%. That's decent. Here's another good thing about goldfish: it doesn't have any sugar. That's good. And I'm looking at the vitamins and stuff. There's really not too much going on as far as vitamins. Um, you're getting a little bit of calcium, a little bit of iron, so that's not too bad. Here's another thing that you need to always look at when you're looking at food labels: the list of ingredients. The more ingredients you see, probably the worse for you it is. Okay? Especially if you can't pronounce some of it. Then right away, you're going to know that it's probably not that good for you. They list the ingredients from the most to the least. Okay, so it has the least amount of dehydrated onions, but it's mostly made with smiles. Ah, ha, 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 funny. Okay. Okay, so after smiles, it's made with unleached enriched wheat flour, and then so on and so forth. You can tell that goldfish are definitely not found in nature. What do you think? Definitely don't
Growing on
grow
a
on
tree.
trees. Mhm.
Some of these are vitamins, though.
It has a little bit of vitamins, but not much. Notice, I'm not gonna say anything yet, but I just want you to look at the package. and try to take in the package and what you might think about the package. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back. Oh my gosh. Corbin just saw a cake with 7,000 calories. Oh no. That's terrible. That's like 3 days worth of meals. Pretzels. Pretzels are really similar to goldfish. Let's just look at the pretzel label. Do you guys notice any differences right off the bat? The fat is different. There is less fat in pretzels. It is lower. It's considered low because it's only 2%. Remember, 5% or lower is low. Um, I do notice that it has. Oops, sorry. I do notice it has more sodium. Much more sodium. It has 19% of what you need an entire day. That's a lot. Not much going on as far as vitamins and stuff. But it doesn't have any fat, so that's a good thing. A little bit less calories, less ingredients. Good, Corbin. He noticed that there's less ingredients, which means that's good, actually. And the ingredients that I'm looking at, well, I can't pronounce most of them, but some of them are found in nature, like salt and flour. And yeah, this one's kind of hard to see because it's so small. But just know that it's not too much different. But here's one that is obviously going to be probably way better. Okay, so we're going to look at a cup of apples. If it's going to take a minute to load, sorry. Okay, let me just zoom in several times and make it as big as I can. Zoom in again. And I'll zoom in one more time. Okay. All right, so we are looking at a cup of apples. So that's a lot. That's a pretty good size apple that they, sliced up or whatever. Notice the calories. A lot less calories, I would say. What about fat? Good, Clara, no fat. It has carbohydrates. It has a pretty fair amount of carbohydrates. But notice most of them are the dietary fiber, and this is the good type of carbohydrate right here, the dietary fiber. It does have sugar. Did you guys know that fruit has a lot of sugar? Mm-hmm. Um, Believe it or not, in a lot of countries, instead of ordering like an ice cream shake or a piece of cake or a cookie for dessert, they order fruit for dessert. Did you know
I
that?
knew that.
Yeah. So think of that next time you're eating fruit. Don't get me wrong, fruit is good for you, but yeah, it is a little sweet. All right, so let's answer some questions. What did you learn about your favorite foods that you didn't know before? And your microphones are on.
How high some of the fat were?
Okay, speak up a little bit.
How high some of the fats were?
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we learned that a lot of our favorite, oops, there we go, snacks are high in bad fats. Go ahead, Jaden.
But you said like how 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 apples and bananas and lemons and limes have sugar, have a lot of sugar, but that's all natural. That's all natural sugar.
It is, and it doesn't affect your body as harshly. When you eat an apple and you get the sugar from an apple, you don't have like that sugar crash 30 minutes later. But when you eat like a big old cupcake, you get a big sugar crash as soon as because it's absorbed into your body a lot quicker, and it's a different type of energy spike. And so, yes, the sugars from fruit are much better for you. Definitely, Jaden. So let me just write that fruits. Oops. Okay, I'm having like a typing issue today. Let me just tell you that. Sugars from fruit and spelling issue apparently are much better than processed sugar. That's what we call things like, cupcakes and cookies, processed sugar. Okay, yeah, it's artificial. Very good. Processed artificial sugar. I just got that little tidbit in the chat. Artificial sugar. There we go. All right. What did you notice? And this is why I had you really look at that goldfish label. What did you notice about the label for certain kid foods? Your microphone's
Smiles. Smiles.
Yeah.
Smiles.
There's smiles. There's a cute fish.
Trying to convince
They
you to
make
buy
it
them.
look unrealistic.
Yeah, well, it's cartoonish, so that's another way of saying unrealistic. Cartoonish,
They try to buy it.
geared towards kids. It's bright.
Yes.
There's lots of smiles, cute little fish. It's definitely, it makes you want to buy it. That's exactly right, Clara. That's what she typed into the chat. It makes you want to buy it. That's the whole point behind it, is to appeal to a certain audience. And I'm showing you kid snacks mostly. Whether they're healthy or not, they're going to put a cute fish on it who is smiling.
I'd probably say they probably make millions every day, just like Starbucks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about marketing. Some of you might have an interest in becoming, somebody who
I want to
develops.
with money, can I say? Like today we were going to pick up my mom because we were driving to work and back and forth. That's why one time I missed the VC. But so the gas station purposely took out all the gas, drained it into a different pipe while my dad was pumping it. So
Oh,
he had to go to another one and they raised the price by 10 cents. So
wow.
my dad would have to pay $3 extra.
Okay. That's interesting.
So upset about it.
Yeah, so I skipped down here to that chart that we were filling out. What else do we now know, now that we've, talked a little bit more and analyzed a few more labels? What do we now know about nutrition labels and or just nutrition?
That they're pretty important to your body, so read them before you buy it.
Okay. So look before you buy it. What is the very first thing that you should look at?
The serving size.
Very good. Serving size is really important because you're not going to get just 100 calories if you eat 3 servings full. Okay.
Yeah.
A 2,000 calorie diet is for an adult. For an adult. So all of those percentages should be lower.
I just realized that the second you started typing 2000, I looked over and saw that my brother's Sour Patch Kid is based on a 2000 diet if he ate some of it every day.
That's right. Okay, so what kind of questions do you want to know about nutrition? Here are a couple questions from the last group. How many calories should a kid take in daily? How many carbohydrates should be in a meal? And how often should you eat canned food? And here's why. They were wondering because it has a lot of sodium. So
Probably once
what questions do you have?
2 days. Oh, I do have one question about the natural sugar.
Okay, go ahead.
Couldn't you harvest or take the natural sugar out of apples or etc.?
I don't know. I think we have tried actually. You know those products that people put in their coffee, like Truvia and
Yeah.
Splenda and stuff? I
Yeah,
think they've
those
tried.
are natural sugars, so they must get it somehow.
Yeah. Okay, and Clara just typed into the chat, is there a way to determine the calories you need based on your weight and your height? It would be both, not just your weight. Height and age, actually. Okay. And then Sienna just typed another question into the chat. Is there a way to tell nutrition facts for grown-ups and homemade food? Oh, ooh, that's a good question. For homemade food, you're gonna have to like look at each individual package that you're using. But just a good rule of thumb, most homemade food is much better for you than anything that you can buy in a package. Here's another good rule of
Yeah,
thumb. Anything
for
that
example,
takes
my
work.
dad made a homemade pizza, and it had about 1,500 less calories than pizza that you could buy.
Well, and it depends obviously on what you're gonna put on it and how you're gonna dress it
Yeah.
up. But for the most part, just think if it comes from a tree or from a plant, it's much better than from a package. That's a good rule of
Well,
thumb.
what my mom used to say is, if it tastes bad, it's good for you, and if it tastes good, it's bad for you.
That's probably true as well. Okay, guys, so here's a couple more things that I'm going to let you do on your own because they're fun, but we don't really need to do them as a group. One is a game. So I've linked the game for you here. And then one is a brain pop video. Um, we might watch this together next week. We might not, depending on how much time we have. But are we ready to figure out what we need to do in order to be ready for next Monday's virtual classroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so for next time, you're going to click on this scavenger hunt sheet and you're going to do a pantry scavenger hunt. Or if you go to the grocery store between now and then, that's great too. You can do that. You're going to
And my
list
dad's
two
going
of your favorite
to.
foods. So two of your favorite foods, and they don't have to be healthy. They can be just favorite foods. And then two foods that you believe are healthy. So list them. Then you're going to bust out the labels and you're going to fill in all of these different categories. You're going to fill in the serving size that you should be eating, calories, and so forth. Then, hopefully, you have some of this around your house. If you don't and you can't get to the store, well, maybe you can find it online. I found all of these labels online, so it's not too hard to do. But I want you to find fried potato chips, soda, cookies, and some kind of candy. It does not matter what type of candy, does not matter what type of cookie. Um, Shoot, you guys probably have a lot of it laying around your house left over from Christmas.
Nope.
And then I want you don't have to necessarily write this one down, but be ready to answer again. Describe the colors and images that are used on the packages of junk food. Okay. And then, do any of these junk food packages that you look at, any of them have popular cartoon characters or celebrities, free offers or free games? If so, I want you to tell me what they are. Okay? These are all things that you need to be aware of, that they are using some pretty clever strategies in order to get you to buy some of this not so good for you food. Okay? All right. Are there any questions on what you need to have done for next Monday? Okay. When I see you on Thursday, Thursday will be similar, but we're not going to continue this lesson until Monday. So just think Monday is more math, Thursday is a little bit more reading. So Thursday's lesson will have more reading stuff to it.
So this has to be done on the 13th.
Yes, on the 13th. That's a week from today. So a week from today, I want you to have your scavenger hunt sheet filled out. Okay?
So
Then don't forget, guys, to play the game and watch the video. Those are really fun. I put them there for a reason. So, all right. Any questions before I let you go?
No.
Okay, go ahead, Jaden.
What's the video? Like for Brain Pop? Because you said it was about Brain Pop, right?
It is a brain pop video. It's on health and nutrition. See, health and nutrition.
What's the normal? What's like the video title called?
Oh, okay. Well, I linked it there so it would go straight to it, but I think I just typed in nutrition. Let's see. Taking forever. I don't know why it's running so slow today, but it is.
I know, me too. It's been running so funny today too.
Yeah.
Why did all the snow on the roof and stuff?
Let's see what
I
it's.
probably think it's just
Nutrition.
Yep, it's called nutrition. That's the title.
You really need to control.
Yeah, and we could maybe even watch it next week too if we have a little bit of time. But yeah, that's what we have for today. I hope you guys are excited about our new awesome big unit that we're doing. I hope that you guys have all of your semester 1 work completed so that you can start your performance task. And that's all I've got for you. All right, friends. It was so good to see you again. I've missed you, and I want you to have a fantastic Monday.
Bye.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.